Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the show. This is Our Take. We are your hosts. I'm Motion.
I'm Taylor.
We're also joined by our weekly guest for this episode.
I'm Connor.
I'm Zach.
And ladies and gentlemen, this is going to be your weekly breakdown for The Last of Us, HBO's original TV show. We are going to be doing covering 2 episodes worth of content this time. The reason being because but HBO decided to put out the 5th episode early, and so we're going to be talking about 2 episodes. So, traditional fashion, ladies and gentlemen, spoiler-free content first. Let you guys know how we liked it, get into some scores, and then dive into the spoilers. All right, so boys, 2 episodes worth of stuff to think about. Right, but how are we feeling? How are we feeling about the trajectory of the show? Is the show maintaining course? Are you guys more upset, less upset? I know there was definitely some cautious optimism coming out of our last breakdown. But how are you guys feeling?
I think it's going in the right direction.
Yeah,
same problems as before, but mostly going in the same direction.
Okay. Connor?
Okay. I don't know. I feel like I'm gonna have a polarizing opinion, but I think some of the things are done very well, and some of the things are not done very well. I don't know how to describe it without spoiling it, but it's not bad. I still think the show is very good. Mm-hmm. Especially after the last episode, the most recent episode that came out. Yeah, it was definitely better. But specifically the episode before that, episode 4, I was kind of disappointed.
Yeah, I think I know why.
Yeah.
Yeah, so after episode 4, I was a little more worried than I was coming out of episode 3 about Bill and Frank and on all of that, all the changes they made with that. Because I didn't mind that, and then they went into episode 4 and they did some more stuff that I was just like, I don't know, I don't know, I'm not really feeling this, but. What I will say is after I watched episode 5, I was like, holy crap, that was dope. And there was a lot of really cool stuff that came in episode 5. There's a few things that I'll bring up, but for me, it kind of was like a dip point, and then it's right back up to where it was coming out of episode 3 for me. But I don't know. What about you, Taylor?
I think overall, it's still pretty good. There's a lot of little things that I wasn't super into for both episodes, but for the most part, I think it's really good. I think it's still generally going in a good direction.
Okay. Yeah. So, I guess final question before we get into scores. Are you guys still thumbs up recommending, or are we people? Maybe not. For me, it's a yes. Keep watching it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, definitely still watch it.
Yeah, still recommend.
Sure. Still stick with it. All right. Let's get into some scores, gentlemen. 1 to 10, Zachy, whole numbers. Okay, whole numbers.
1.5.
I'll let you go last again. Give you some time. I'll start it off. For me, I don't remember what I gave last episode.
I think a 9.
I think I gave a 9. I'm gonna stay at a 9. I'm gonna if I had to go episode by episode, it'd probably be 8 then 9, 8 for episode 4, 9 for episode 5. But I'm gonna give it a 9 for this.
Yeah, we'll do both. So
all right, so I'll go. Episode 4 was an 8 for me, slight dip in a few things, and then episode 5 was a 9 and almost could have been a 10, but. There's one thing I didn't really care for about episode 5. Connor, what you got for us, buddy?
Yeah, mine's gonna be the same. Episode 4 is gonna be an 8. And then episode 5 is going to be 9.
All right, I like it. Ted?
For both episodes, I'm gonna keep my previous score, so 8 for both.
Sticking with an 8. All right, at least it's maintaining course. Gotcha. Zachy, hold numbers. What you got, buddy?
Episode 4 was a 7, and episode 5 was a 9.
Oh wow. Okay. All right. Good to. I like it. All right. Those are your scores, ladies and gentlemen. If you guys have not seen episode 4 and 5, I definitely recommend checking it out before you dive into spoilers with us. There are some things that I think you should experience firsthand on screen, especially the end of episode 5. Yeah, we're gonna get into it. We'll talk about like differences between the game and the show, and talk about how we like stuff and what we didn't like. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is your official
spoiler alert.
All right. So starting off with episode 4, boys. There are some major changes, right, that they made to the story. Obviously, the location, right? Like they're traveling west, right, ladies and gentlemen. They're traveling west, going towards Wyoming, and in the show, they end up in Kansas City, Missouri, Kansas City, Kansas. And the events that take place throughout episode 4, some of them we know, some of them we don't, but all of those events take place in a different city during the game, right? Is it Pittsburgh or is it Philadelphia?
It's Pittsburgh.
Pittsburgh, right? Yeah. So it takes place in Pittsburgh in the game, and I don't know. How do you guys feel about that? Are you guys upset about the different city? Does it make a difference to you guys? For me, I think I know why they did it. They're trying to push the story farther west quicker. But I don't know. What do you guys feel?
I don't really mind it. It's not really here for the location. I mean, the locations are cool, but it's mostly the story. So I don't. As long as you're telling somewhat of the same story, it's all right with me.
Okay. Well,
Yeah,
Kyle, why don't you talk to us about the difference in, like, what happened in the city, like the beginning, like, if you know what I'm talking about.
Okay, yeah. So, you're talking about before they get to the city?
No.
Like
in the
the
city.
ambush.
No.
Yeah, the ambush.
Oh, yeah. Okay. So, yeah. In the game, when they get to Pittsburgh, there's a guy who, my dog just opened the door. There's a guy who hi baby. There's a guy who okay. There's a guy who he's standing out there and he's like, help me, just like the show.
Right.
And Joel's like, hell no, and he like puts his seatbelt on and he's like, we're getting the fuck out of here. He drives straight towards the guy. And that starting off point, that's pretty much like a very good recreation of that.
Yeah.
And you crash into a building. Joel and Ellie gets out. And they kind of have this like, there's only 2 guys there, so they're just hiding behind the truck while they're getting shot at, and it kind of goes into this slow, kind of long fight scene, and I thought it was well done for what they did in the show, but I kind of wish that they made it a little more how it was in the game, where like not combat wise while you're playing it, but like the cutscene and everything was way more intense. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And brutal. Of like, there was like at least like 10 or 15 guys ambushing them in the game. They drove a fucking bus into the car. Like, you know what I mean? Like it was like they had like this huge ambush that they just completely like destroyed them with. And it didn't feel as like threatening or scary in the show. I'm just gonna say, because there was just 2 guys and they didn't really do much, like they weren't like running in after them when they crashed through the building and trying to like smash Joel's face into a shard of glass or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, it was more toned down. Even at the end of this, ambush scene where a guy comes in through the back door and kind of like surprises Joel and gets the upper hand, and Ellie has to come out and shoot him in the back to save Joel. That part was that scene was really well done, and I really appreciated the I don't know what you would call it. I'm not gonna call it brutal, but like the emotional weight of this Raider guy being
interject real quick right there. I I understand what they were doing, and I like what they attempted to do, but this is another example to me of why the portrayal of that they're doing of Ellie and Bella Ramsey's performance is just not fitting to me. Because I didn't feel it from her. I didn't feel the the weight that you're talking about, that the gravity of the situation through her.
Oh no, I'm not talking about her. I'm talking about the guy that came in and
pleading for his life.
Yeah, like that was like, I can appreciate that they made him like there was more weight to like him being an actual person and not just like a fucking bad, just a bad guy or whatever. NPC, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right. But yeah, I agree with you that like I don't think the Ellie part was emotionally, charged or anything at all. I wasn't like that. So my point was that like I didn't really like. I was excited to see what's going to happen, with all these Raiders and everything. And overall, from episode 4, from the point where they do the ambush on, I was kind of disappointed in how these people were shown. And
isn't Ellie's first kill in the game later, right? Or is it around the same time? Because it was different in the game, right? If you remember, I don't know, I don't recall correctly. Because it was when he was drowned, it was trying to drown him, right? And she grabbed the gun off the ground. Originally in the game with Ellie, like you're drowning Joel like, underwater, and Joel's trying to reach for his gun, and Ellie picked it up and shot the guy in the head. That was the original. That was the original first kill for Ellie, I think. Originally, before the DLC. Right. Yeah. I just don't remember if that was before or after this scene.
I think it's after.
I mean, even in this show, this wasn't technically her first kill either. I mean, she just
shot technically.
She literally, well, not only that, she just shot him and he actually survived the shot. But she also was like, "Oh, it wasn't my first time," which obviously alludes to the DLC portion that is being intertwined. But Taylor, talk to us a little bit about your feelings with the so-called Raiders, which are not actually Raiders. They're more of like a rebel group against Fedra, led by a new character to the show, Kathleen. How do you feel about that stuff?
So as far as this aspect goes, I really don't like it, and it carries through both episodes. Not necessarily because they're not Raiders. I just don't like everything else about them. Yeah. So it kind of just brings the whole thing down. I don't like how they're visually look. They look fucking overpowered as hell.
Yeah.
Their resources seem infinite. Their power seems really large as well. There's a ton of people. I don't really care for any of the characters that are included in this group. And they're probably the weakest aspect to me so far.
Yeah. I would agree 100%. In fact, the Kathleen is my biggest gripe about episode 5. Now, I'm not mad that they tried to add in a new character and do something a little bit different, right? That's not, I don't mind that part of it. What I don't like is that they added a character with so much depth and backstory to the character that they couldn't explain it enough. You know what I mean? Like the whole time she's just like angry at the world over this guy named Henry that we don't know who the hell Henry is. We don't know what Henry did to her. We don't know anything. And there's also the aspect of like, well, why is this girl in charge? Like, why do her soldiers and stuff just blindly follow her when she makes the dumbest survival decisions, and it doesn't make any sense to me. So I'm just like, okay, if they had actually fleshed it out and told us or given this the answers to these kinds of questions, it probably wouldn't have been that bad. Like, I mean, I don't mind that they're adding in more depth to the so-called raiders, but it just they didn't answer the right questions for her character. And so the whole time I'm just sitting there like, what is happening? Like, why is this dude with a beard and hair that looks tactical as hell like just blindly following her for what reason? Like, well, why does she have that kind of power?
That was the biggest gripe, I think, like Taylor said, was that I think she was very poorly cast as this type of person, because she does not fit the role of resistance leader at all. Are
you talking about the actress herself?
No, just the character Kathleen. And nothing against the actress, but she's the most non-threatening. Like, I half expected someone to just pick up a gun and shoot her halfway through and be like, I'm the leader now.
Well, I think that's what they were intending to do. Like, they wanted her to be that non-threatening leader, but it doesn't make sense because they don't explain how she gained the power in the beginning, because she had to have done something to become the leader in the beginning, and then she shows her softer side or whatever, but they never explained that. So I don't know. I didn't like her at all, and it made the whole Henry and Sam situation a little dull to me. So
yeah,
absolutely.
I agree. Yeah, she was. If they had made her character different and maybe put some more effort into, like you said, thinking about the survival of everyone, then maybe I'd be like, oh, okay, that's why they're following her. But
you're also right, Taylor. Their fucking resources were ridiculous. Like,
the big problem, right, is where I actually really enjoy as far as Joel and Ellie's progression is going, but the problem is you're taking like season 1. Like, let me try to put it in perspective. You're taking season 1 main characters and then jump to season 6 and the Walking Dead villain is what you're trying to do. That doesn't match together.
Right.
No. And then the person playing the villain, you're not the governor, you're not Negan, even though you say that you are. Like, you try to talk like you're cool, but you aren't actually cool. Like, you're not threatening, but you say you do. Like, you say like you're so like ruthless and all this crap because your brother died, but you never actually portray any of that. Yeah. And you look like an idiot because I know this is a real nitpick, but your fucking drop leg holster, why the fuck is it in the front?
Yeah.
First of all, nobody uses that shit anymore because it's not the 90s anymore. But even if you're going to have it, why the fuck is it all the way in the front? And then like the way you like picked up your pistol and loaded it around to shoot somebody. Why is that not loaded?
Yeah.
Like, you're trying to be dramatic, but you just look stupid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For people that.
And then the guy, like the follower, like who's like, he looks cool.
Yeah, he does.
He looks like you should be a leader.
Who are you? Why are you here? How do you have all this shit? You have all these brand new like lifted Yodas that are like decked out. What the fuck? You guys are all rocking like the Gucciest fucking M4s I've ever seen in my life in the fucking apocalypse, like years later with a crazy amount of ammo.
Yeah, I don't care that you guys took over a Fedra base and
but
stuff.
But even Fedra shouldn't have that.
I know, that's what I'm saying. It's true, like, I don't care that you guys that's your that being your explanation is not enough for me, because we know from the game that even Fedra was severely undersupplied and severely, like, they were trying to
everybody
survive
was
themselves.
Yeah,
it's not like Fedra was just bursting at the seams with resources and stuff. So I didn't like that. And the guy was like, I don't know, I guess he looked cool, but he was just off to me. It's just like, well, I think you guys go into the basement of this building and the ground starts breathing.
Oh,
Like,
nope.
The
Nope.
ground is breathing right in front of you, and you're like, yeah, we'll just shut the door and we won't talk about this.
Yeah, no.
Like, what?
Well, that's
That was my
because of the
biggest gripe.
stupid
That was
late Kathleen's fault.
I know, that's what
It
I
wasn't
mean.
Yeah,
his fault.
But
he
then
was smart
but-
about it.
But then he just like blindly follows. Just like, okay, whatever.
Yeah,
Yeah, I don't.
that's what I was
but
talking
I don't
about.
think that's
Is-
his character's
No,
fault.
It's not. But
Yeah, but that's why I think they wrote this like character arc of the Raiders being people and them having like lives or whatever they did. I
Yeah.
don't think they did a very good job
No,
because
not at all.
it just shows that like why put in so much effort when they're gonna be fucking idiots anyway. Like
yeah,
they if you're not gonna
and
put in
then
effort
die
to
the very next episode.
right, exactly, and if you're not gonna put in the effort to like flesh out more than one of these Raider characters, like the second in command guy, which they don't
Yeah.
actually flesh out at all, which
No,
is why
not
he
at
feels
all.
he feels
I don't
out of
even know his
place.
name.
Right, I don't know his name
I don't
either
think he has a name, to be honest.
because
I don't
he feels so
remember
out
them
of
ever
place
saying
because
his name.
they flesh out Kathleen's character and nobody else's character. Who
Well,
the fuck is that guy?
His name-
Kind of just.
Well, they try to flesh it like
Oh,
you know what I mean. Out of all the out Raider bad guy characters, they try to flesh
Yeah.
her out the most, but they don't include anybody else in that. Which the second in command guy is there almost all the time, so it's like you might as well just do it so that it feels more coherent and not like this guy's just a fucking idiot who's like, I don't know, I'll just follow you and do whatever you say, I guess. I know.
Apparently his name is Perry.
I have 3 guns on my body and I could just shoot you and be
Dude,
like,
he's
I'm
got
the
like
leader now.
5 knives.
Dude, he's
Yeah.
got a knife upside down on the left, a knife across the body in the middle, knife on
I
his
know.
hip.
I
He's
was
got
like,
his
what's-
M4, a
He's
pistol
got,
on
like,
his
an old
hip.
school fucking one mag has
Yeah.
an old school Ranger fucking pull tab or
Yeah.
rifle.
Plays him,
And
right?
then the other
Like,
mags are
yes.
bare.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. I after that scene that you talked about where the fucking ground was breathing and shit,
Yeah.
it pulled me out after that. Like immediately my immersion was broken. I was like, okay, this is fucking stupid.
Yeah.
Like you're
Yeah.
gonna
I
go
was
back in there and
super
be like,
frustrated
oh my
with
god,
the
you're not gonna
response.
follow my orders, and Henry is the number one priority. It's not the number one priority for you. I would have been like, no, bitch, that's not the number one priority.
Yeah,
The number
Yeah. I
It's-
don't know why at that moment he literally just been like, no,
Okay.
motherfucker.
yeah,
The people are my priority.
Yeah.
No,
Exactly.
motherfucker. The fact that solid ground is breathing in front of our faces might be a bigger priority. Just
he was literally like, well, I feel like the ground,
ground
I
is
feel like
kind of
that
important.
probably is it. And she's like, really? Is that what you think? And he's like, no. I was like, dude, come on. Are you
Dude,
fucking
I
serious?
was like, I'm like, bro, just punch her.
yeah.
What is
Yeah,
she gonna
seriously.
do?
Literally.
She's gonna fucking
She's gonna
cry
pull
in
out
the
her
corner.
gun and try to charge
Just all you have to do is just boom.
Yeah.
That
it
really
was-
irritated
it
me
was
because I was like,
frustrating.
"There's no
It's
way
like
in
they-
hell
they
in real
tried to
life that's gonna
consolidate
fucking happen. There's no
An
fucking way,
entire
dude."
season worth of like
Yeah.
development in one episode
Right.
for
Yeah,
this
that's not
group.
possible. No.
Especially because
Well, they don't even need to because we don't need this much in-depth story
Right.
on these characters. They could have just made it very brief and then you just go through the interaction and that's it. But
especially
they wanted to
because
make it such a big deal.
we as people that play the game know who the hell Henry is, right? We know
Yeah.
who Henry is. We know who Sam is. And during episode 4, for the life of me, I could not figure out how the hell they were going to piece together Kathleen and Henry. Like, I
Yeah,
was
that
like-
made no sense.
I was like, were they married? Like, did Henry have a wife or something? And are they making Sam his kid instead of his brother? Like, what? Like, how are they piecing together these two storylines? Because in my head, I'm like, I know who Henry is, and it's not like you could say like Henry. Because in the beginning, they never say why she's after Henry. Like during episode 4, they don't talk about why she's after Henry. She's just like, oh, we gotta find Henry, and then she's like, this is the work of Henry. And they never explain why she's after Henry. So in my head, I'm like, all right, there's only so many reasons why somebody would be so hell bent on finding this person, right? Either it's a spouse or an immediate family member, or they like kidnapped your kid. Like my initial thought was that they were gonna make Sam her kid, and Henry like took him away because they were like separating from each other. You know what I mean? Like I thought they were gonna play like that role. And it would have been better than what it was.
Yeah,
But I was
it
just
would have
like,
been.
I was like,
They-
okay, but where are you going with this? Because it's not
What I
believable
feel like-
to me.
What I feel like they tried to do was parallel this situation and these two characters' arc with what's happens in part 2 of The Last of Us, and Ellie's situation with what's her name?
Kathleen.
No, the
Oh,
the super buff chick.
oh, Abby.
Oh.
Abby. Right. They're trying to parallel what's going on like here with. Do you see what I'm saying? Where it's like
yeah, I kind of see what you're
Revenge.
saying.
it's like so I feel like that's maybe like setting up a recurring theme that might be going might start to happen over the course of
I don't
however
like
many
it for
fucking seasons they
how
do.
much screen time they gave Kathleen in episode 4 and how much like shallow storytelling they did with her with no depth to follow it up later on, and then she dies in episode 5. Like
The best part.
She dies in like the most Jurassic Park way possible too.
Honestly.
I mean, it was great. I was like, yes,
It was cool.
that's satisfying
cool.
to me.
I just thought it was so funny. I was like, that is like literally straight out of Jurassic Park, dude. Like,
That's definitely a Barbasol can and what is that dinosaur called with the
yeah, the
Oh,
Dilophosaurus.
Dilophosaurus,
Yeah. That was straight out of that right there. Yeah.
I mean, you guess her right hand man's name is Perry. Like,
Yeah,
I had to look it
I
up.
don't remember them saying that.
played
name
by
at all.
Jeffrey Pierce, who voices Tommy in the games. Poor guy.
Oh, really? I did
yeah,
not know
he
that.
voices
That's cool.
Tommy.
Imagine being a cool character in the game and then
Yeah. Imagine
getting cast as nothing in the.
I mean,
TV
his
show?
destiny was dope. Let me say that right now.
Oh yeah, it looked very cool.
His
Yeah.
destiny was.
I mean, he
The
died in
lead up
pretty
was stupid,
brutal way.
but the actual death was cool.
The actual
Yeah.
death was cool.
All right, let's push to the end of episode 4 so we can start getting into the cool stuff in episode 5. Episode 4, we see some more development between Joel and Ellie. Joel actually lets her keep the gun that she took from Bill and Frank's, which is interesting. But it's a nice moment to see them developing and him trusting her more. And then we get the scene of them laying down in the hotel room or whatever in the apartment room, and they exchange the laughs over the joke. I actually really like that. I don't know how you guys feel about it, but I really liked seeing
I liked it
a
too.
different interaction between them, because normally all we get is just banter
Your
or
cargo.
Joel snarky comments,
Or Ellie being a fucking psychopath.
or Ellie being rebellious, teenager angst kind of stuff. So it was really nice to see them just have a normal
Father-daughter moment.
Yeah.
So I like
Yeah,
that.
I just want to say for this episode, this was not what I wanted from what I said last time about human confrontation.
Yeah.
This is not it. I would like something better, please. This is not what I was looking forward to. So it was really disappointing for
I agree.
episode 4.
Yeah, I would agree. All right, episode 4 ends on a cliffhanger with Joel and Ellie waking up to Joel waking up to Ellie calling his name because she's being held at gunpoint by somebody that we know as Henry, but then eventually we find out in episode 5. So episode 5, I don't remember how it kicks off. Does it just pick up right where?
Yeah,
right where they left
Yeah,
off?
it picks up right where they left off. They're being held at gunpoint. The kid is.
Doesn't it
pointing his
start
gun at
with the
Joel.
story
No,
about
it
Henry
starts
and Sam?
with Henry and Sam.
Right?
Yeah.
Starts
And
with their
then once
backstory.
that
right?
finishes and it catches up to
Oh
Joel
yeah,
and Ellie,
you're right.
then it
Yeah.
picks up from Joel and Ellie.
So actually, it starts off with the revolution, like mid-revolution
Right.
happening, where they just have won and they're fucking like brutally torturing and killing all these Fedra guys. They're like sticking
Yeah.
1,000 knives into one guy, and they're like
Dragging
hanging
him.
another dude. They're like dragging
that
him
was
around.
kind
bust a
of
bottle on one guy's head. Like
that
Yeah.
was like I 100% believe that's something that would have happened.
oh yeah,
Like
that's
I
absolutely
100%
what
believe
happened.
it. Whether or not we needed to actually see all of that stuff, I don't know.
They're just trying to
was-
force the point that humans
Yeah,
are bad.
I mean, I'm
It
gonna agree with
definitely-
you. I'm gonna agree
It
with you, but
definitely
I think,
caught me off guard.
but I
Oh.
kind of wished that they had done that in the previous episode with the ambush scene and had made it like a fucking brutal mess. You know what I mean? Like, you're gonna pussy out on that scene and like not show us the like, just imply that there was a brutal death. When Joel stabs the guy, but you're gonna show us all this other crap where these fucking people are like,
yeah, that's true.
You know what I mean? Like, come
There's
on.
no consistency in the gruesomeness of.
Yeah, you're gonna be like super brutal in one
things.
thing, and then the other one you're gonna be like, I don't.
We're not going to show. Too scared. We're not going to show Joel driving a gigantic knife through a dude's chest.
Yeah, or like in the game where he fucking shoves the guy's neck into the glass and literally kills him. You know what I mean? Like,
I just feel like they're scared to give our main characters like any like brutality scenes, if that makes sense. Like, this is they avoid at all costs. Like, they show everyone else doing brutal stuff, but it feels like with our main character, it's just like, let's shy away from that. Like, I don't.
And that was the whole point of like Joel's character, is that he's fucking brutal.
Yeah,
dude.
he's a brutal person.
He will kill you. Like, no matter what he has to do to kill you, he will kill you. He will find a way to kill you. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
And but I don't see that at all on this show. It's just I just see him shoot, and then I hear him stab someone.
Pretty much.
Yeah, that's a fair point. Yeah.
So
I would say I agree. I think the reasoning for it is mostly because, even though you're right, and this is exactly what Joel is there for, is kind of the fact that like he's one of those guys that does what needs to be done.
Right.
And
fortunately
in the game you get to do those things.
Yeah.
But they don't show that in this because at least I feel like, because it's easier for people to remain attached to this character, not seeing him do it. Even though they tell you about it, if you watch me slice a dude's head or like cut his neck or something, cut his throat, but I'm the good guy, you're going to feel some type of way about it.
Right.
Even if I tell you like, oh, I was trying to save you and blah, 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 blah. It's just to keep people still with his character and not feel a little bit iffy about him,
Yeah.
Even though we know that he does all these like, very brutal like kills and stuff and does all the hardship stuff, it's just easier for somebody to accept without seeing it. Right. Yeah,
I agree with you.
Know.
I just think it's gonna bite the storytellers in the butt later on, because I think what makes Joel so special to us as people that experience him through the game is that conflict, is the fact that he was an amazing dad in the beginning of the movie, right? Or not movie, sorry, game. Like, we saw his interaction with Sarah. It was great. And then he turned into this hard, calloused, bitter man because of things that happened to him and the things that he's had to do. And then throughout the game, we see this conflict of him trying to be a human being, but he's been hurt so many times and had to do such terrible things that he's capable of doing the worst kinds of things. So that's the Joel I know. The Joel on this TV show, even though Pedro Pascal does an amazing job, like, I'm not trying to take anything away from Pedro, but it's slowly like they're slowly like, I don't want to say softening, because that is what Joel ends up doing, but like
they're like sucking the life out of
Joe.
him.
Yeah, they're like nerfing him. Like nerfing his.
Well, for me, it's like, I get that they don't want to show, like, when you're looking from the outside audience, that they don't want to like make him super brutal so that they don't, fall out of him. But I feel like that's going to have the opposite effect, because there are things that happen that I'm assuming that are going to happen in the show, that happen in the game, where he has to be brutal because Ellie's life is in danger and he needs to fucking do it. You know what I mean? Because that's, like you said, he needs to do what needs to be done. And that's what pulls your emotion in, because you're like, yeah, fuck that guy. Because you care about Ellie, and you're like, I need to go save Ellie. You know what I mean? So it's like, I feel like if they continue to like do that, where everything else is going to be super brutal, but the two main characters that you're supposed to care the most about don't have that interaction of like, this is how life is in this apocalypse, and this is what they have to do to survive, because they end up loving each other, and it doesn't matter what, that's the duality of Joel, is that he loves Ellie so much he will do anything for her, but is it
right?
right?
Yeah.
Is it right?
I mean,
Yeah, is
But-
it morally
but
right?
that's the emotional weight that you want to feel, because that's like
Well, that's what made the game so incredible,
Right.
Yeah.
right? Like,
I mean, that's what I'm worried
made
about
it
in the
game.
show now. Is based off what Taylor says. Like, how are they going to fix the ending if you're making Joel this goody guy that doesn't go brutal? You know, like the end of the
Yeah.
game. I'm not going to spoil anything, but at
Okay,
the
well,
end, you're-
okay, I want to explain something, right? I agree with everything you guys are talking about, but my point is it's not actually different. They're just doing it in a slightly visually different way. He's still killing people.
Right.
I'm just saying that they're trying to avoid like the visual aspect of him
To make it
stabbing a dude
easier.
in the fucking face to avoid people feeling some kind of way about his character. He's still killing people.
yeah, but it doesn't
So
have the
I
same
don't think
effect.
you guys have to worry about that.
right. It
'Cause
just doesn't.
I imagine later on in the show, it's probably going to change along with Ellie's progression as a character, because she only gets to shoot the guy in this episode. Obviously, later down the road, more stuff's going to happen. So I imagine then we will see the characters doing more things. But I do agree in that if they try to change that too much,
Mhm.
then it's going to be a big issue.
Right.
But right now, I don't think it's that serious.
Okay. All right. Well, we got 4 episodes more to see what goes on with that.
Yeah.
Hopefully,
But all right. So episode 5, we get kind of a couple, like, to me, major plot points condensed into the story, right? They get held by gunpoint by Sam and Henry. Then they end up like working it out and deciding to work together to get out of the city. And Henry's plan is to use the tunnels under the maintenance tunnels under the city to escape. So, Zachy, talk us through that kind of sequence of events of them going down into the tunnels and whatnot, because there's something that happens that I'm pretty sure flies right over every person that's never played the game's head in that sequence of events.
if I think I remember what you're talking about in the game, is that part where they get separated? Is that what you're talking about from the game part, or something else?
I'm talking more about Ish's Sanctuary.
Oh, yeah. To be honest, I can't remember the game of that part too much. It's been a little bit since I played. I never actually got that far yet when I was playing it earlier. But in the episode, they make out a plan to go underground, which they both say it's a great plan, other than the fact that all the Fedra said they put all the effect underground, right? What they said, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, they said that they
really-
drove every clicker
In fact,
into
yeah.
like underground.
And of course, Joel was worried about it because they're underground. That's scary. That's horrible. And I think he says Fedra killed them all within a year ago or 3 years ago, something
3
like
years
that.
ago.
3 years ago.
Yeah.
And so they take the tunnels. Everything's fine. And I honestly, I don't really remember what happens after because everything over that was just kind of boring talk. So I know they were in a little like underground, I would say, base, but
Yeah, so
For me, it
they
wasn't anything
go through the
important to remember.
tunnels. Oh, see, I
I don't find
I
anything.
disagree because they end up in the tunnels, right? They're going through the tunnels. They end up in a place called Ish's Sanctuary, and Ish's Sanctuary, is it DLC or is that part of the main game?
I don't remember. It's been a while.
Do you remember?
I
So-
don't remember.
No.
I don't think so.
Do you remember, Connor?
I'm pretty sure that's not. I don't
Main
think
game?
that's. I
don't
don't
think
think
it's
that's
main
part of the
game,
game. Yeah, I don't think it's part of the game. I don't.
I know it's
Think-
in the game, but I can't remember if it's DLC or main.
Yeah,
game.
but I don't think that it's like, because I don't remember going into any tunnels in Pittsburgh. Like, I don't remember doing that at all.
Oh
I
no,
don't
we
either.
did because that's how they got separated, right?
No,
Yeah.
I thought they got separated because
They were in the sewers and a gate came down separating Joel and Sam with Ellie and Henry,
Right.
and then to find a way to go back around. If you remember,
Yeah,
I
but
might have to.
I don't
Yeah,
think
it's been
that
a
that's
while.
like a huge part of the.
not a huge thing. It just gives them a reason.
Well,
to
okay, so
separate.
Like they're
Uh,
mostly topside in the game because like you're mostly just fighting.
yeah, you're going
dudes.
through the buildings
Yeah.
and stuff.
Yeah, that's
Right.
But my point, or my the thing that I just want to touch on, because it plays into some changes that they made, was when they're in Ish's sanctuary, which is the little kid's room, or what looks like a little kid's room. There's a lot of interaction between Sam and Ellie, and this is probably my biggest gripe with the changes that they made. So in the game, Sam is a lot older. Like,
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure he's older than Ellie. Is he older than Ellie? Or
He's younger
whatever.
than
He's
Ellie.
like around the same age as Ellie in the game, and he's not deaf. Which the deaf part is not a huge deal to me, but it's just the fact that they made Sam so much younger than Ellie. When they interact and they play like with the soccer and they talk about the comics and stuff, it doesn't feel the same way that it feels in the game to me. Like in the game, it felt like Ellie found a companion that differs from Joel, right? It's not a father figure; it was a friend. Like Ellie had a friend in Sam. They got along. They liked a lot of the similar things. Like she had this person that she could foresee them like going on this journey together. Like that Sam and Henry were going to join them, and that she could potentially like spend a lot of time with this person. But in this show, to me, it feels more like a babysitter relationship. Like it feels like she's kind of like just babysitting Sam
him
while Henry and Joel talk, and that it's not an actual friendship. It's more of she just a caretaker kind of thing. And I don't like that. I don't like that that relationship, because it just changes the dynamic of the four of them. And like even at the end of the episode, it was still incredibly sad and incredibly gut wrenching, but like it kind of, I don't know, it lessened the impact to me a little bit with what happens at the end. So we also find out why Kathleen is after Henry during that scene as well. That's when Henry tells Joel what he did as far as he turned in Kathleen's brother to Fedra when they were in the beginning part of the rebellion in exchange for medicine for Sam. I don't remember. Was Sam sick in the game? Because in that show he has leukemia and they needed medicine, and that's why he turned in Kathleen's brother in exchange for medicine. But do you guys remember if Sam was sick in the game?
No, I don't think.
I don't think he was.
I don't.
They were just being hunted by these raiders. They were both being hunted by the raiders because the raiders just
that's what they
want to. Yeah, that's just they do that to outside people.
They just want to burn people.
Yeah. The game, it was like, these outsiders are in our city, let's go fuck them up. And that was it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
Simple.
Yeah. So I don't know how you guys feel about that relationship between Ellie and Sam in the show, but I wasn't a huge fan of it. And that's kind of like my biggest issue, or actually really my only issue with this episode, was just that the relationship between Ellie and Sam didn't feel as important and deep as it did in the game.
That's a fair point.
Yeah, I think that's a good point.
Can you guys elaborate on why you feel that way? Because I did not feel that way at all between these two.
It just felt like it felt like I was watching somebody babysit Sam.
Yeah,
I felt like I was watching Ellie babysit him instead of
like
a friendship being formed.
Yeah, a good example would be like when my brother was a lot younger, because we have a 12-year difference. He's when he was like 6, and I was ending high school, coming out of high school.
Right.
Like I love my brother and we were friends and everything, but it wasn't like we were friends. You know what I mean? It's like he's 6 and I'm 17, 18, and it's like you're kind of like you hang out with him to play with him because he's a kid, and like it's
because
it's not
you love him and you
but it's more of like it's more of like a parental child relationship, where it's like they're a lot younger, so you have to like do things differently than how you would with just a friend,
Yeah.
or a friend that's the same age as you, even if it was like I'm 12 and he's 12, it would still be different than me being 17 and he's 6 years old.
Right. Whereas like me and you hanging out, or us and Connor, or whatever, like it's a different kind of, the way you act and the way you talk and stuff is just different. And that's the feeling that I got between Ellie and Sam, is that it wasn't a equal friendship. It was more of a caretaker thing. It wasn't, like, as far as execution and portrayal of those roles, they did it good. Like they executed it well. I just don't like the way it was written, because it's, I don't know, it's a different feeling. And then, like I said, at the end of the episode, when unfortunately Sam dies, it's a little less impactful to me on Ellie's character.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, how are you didn't feel that way? You felt like it was
no, and I'm curious if this is maybe just a personal thing for you guys, because I don't see how there was really that much of a difference, because they're other than the fact that maybe because Sam is deaf and can't talk, they both did share interests, and they interacted a lot and played a lot.
Right.
And maybe it's just because of Ellie's interaction with Sam, of just like her. I mean, she only really changes her voice like when she's reading with him, which admittedly is kind of pointless because he can't hear you, but it's to help herself get into it.
So that's part of what I mean, is her demeanor changes, her vocal changes, the way she acts. She acts childish with him. And
it'd be how you would act when you have like a 6-year-old kid and you want to play with them. Like, you wouldn't be like,
it's indicative of her lowering her, for lack of a better word, like intellect and let's call it, her lowering her intellect level in order to be on the same level as Sam, because he's younger than her, and that's why when they do play, they have fun and it's fine, but it just feels like she's stooping down to a lower level in order to be on his level to play with him, versus them being equal. I can imagine if Sam was, well, you can't imagine because we saw it in the game, but just try to imagine Sam is older. They would play differently, and they're not gonna play the same way that they did.
Ellie is 14.
Huh? Yeah,
she's only 14.
But that's a big difference, man. Between 8 and 14, that's a huge. There's a huge difference in developmental, like the stages of development of a child between 8 and 14. Like, imagine, especially in the show, freshman year versus.
Okay, but not only is she 14, she's literally never really had that much experiences in her life. She's like a pretty secluded child as far as the show could have fooled me. Do whatever she wants. Yeah, but see, that's the problem. Is you guys, we all agreed and criticized her as a character in the beginning for trying to act like an adult when she's not. Right. Now that she's acting like a child, you still have an issue with it? Because I think it's much better that she's acting like a child, because everybody says that she's a child because she is.
I didn't have a problem with her acting like an adult. I had a problem with her acting like a freaking like weirdo psychopath. Yeah. Like just like that was what upset me about her character, was that she has this weird fucking like bloodlust or something. Like I don't know what the fuck it is, but like I don't really know how to describe it. But like we said in the third episode, like what made me did not like her character was the fact that she, for some reason, really wants to like kill things or be violent or like I don't know what it is. Inflict harm.
I see what you're saying, Taylor, and you're right that like we did criticize her for being an adult. I don't know that I'm criticizing her for being a child. I'm just criticizing the storytelling of their relationship, because I think it affects things later on. And it may not. I mean, maybe they like going forward, it does end up having the same effect on Ellie that it did in the game, because in the game she loses a friend and she slowly starts to realize that like people are not going to be around forever, and that she's like, it was another companion that she lost, right? She's like, oh, I have a friend that's gonna be able to come with us on this journey, and then now he's gone.
It calls back to her previous friendship in the DLC part where
Right.
they're the same age, and her friend also dies there, and so now she has
So
another.
now it's like she's seeing this pattern
person.
because Tess died, her person died, Sam died. It's a pattern that she's beginning to build, and I'm not. I guess we'll find out maybe next episode or in a few episodes from now.
They touch on that in this episode in 5.
What do you mean?
Before Sam dies, like the conversation.
Right,
that they
she's
have
afraid of
between each
being
other.
alone.
Yeah, because of all the people she's already lost. And I feel like because they made Sam deaf and they have his little writing thing, which I did like.
Yeah, I did. I love that.
That adds a bigger effect to those words, just having to read it and see it like that versus just saying it.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Yeah,
Only because then we have to rely on acting and all that kind of
Right.
stuff and all the build up to it.
Yeah.
Where it's much easier to just be like, we saw all the people so far of her losing, and then writing that on the message, and then obviously having the shot focus on it and you read it before Sam also leaves.
You're 100% right that those mechanisms definitely inflicted that kind of emotion. What remains to be seen for me is whether or not the relationship that her and Sam had, because he was younger, having a greater or as great of an effect as it did to me in the game, because he was a little bit older and they had a little bit more of a kinship friendship in the game. So it's another one of those situations where I don't necessarily like it, but it still kind of remains to be seen whether or not it actually works out. And it could. It 100%. It could still have the same effect on her, and kind of weigh on her the same way that it did in the game. So I'm sure we'll find out a little bit more in episode 5 and episode 6.
That was actually not.
Go
Well, sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. You're good.
I just wanted to say that, like, for me, the biggest gripe in this episode was, again, Kathleen and this fucking scene where she's in her like childhood room or whatever, and she's having that conversation with the with.
That's so dumb.
I
I know.
completely forgot about that scene. I purged it from my memory.
That was my biggest gripe in this episode. I was like, "What the fuck is like what?"
Well, that's what I was talking about. That they try to give depth to her character, but they answer all the wrong questions.
And they answer none of the
right information.
He's like, your brother didn't change anything, but you did.
Yeah, it's
Where
like,
was
okay,
You
but
did.
what did
And then
you
it's
change?
like, okay, so what did she fucking do? Because I haven't seen her do a single goddamn thing that was like
Except for shoot a
important.
guy in
Her
cold
bitch
blood.
about everything.
Yeah.
No, you're right.
That's
And
what pissed me off.
it
the most
rolls
in this.
right
That's
into it rolls right into the ending scene, ending sequence of events. Right, Joel, the four of them, Joel, Ellie, Henry, Sam, they make it out of the tunnels, and they think they're in the clear, and they run into a sniper. So Connor, why don't you kind of explain the differences between the game and the show here in regards to the sniper? Because to me, it was pretty drastically different.
Yeah, so in the show, there's like one guy in a tower, and it's at night, and he's sniping them. I guess he's like a lookout for this
Raider
group, to make sure that no one's going into the, outskirts of the city or whatever. In the game, it's set during the daytime. They go into this suburb, and they're already on the run. Like, they're still being chased, and they just run into another big group of raiders. So there's a sniper, and there's multiple guys on the ground, all coming towards you, and they're like, all trying to kill you. I think it was actually well done of like the rendition of how I'm not gonna say combat, but like the situation goes between Joel and the sniper is
Sure.
basically the same as it is in the game, where you have to like he has to go flank the guy around, get to the back of the house, go up and kill him, right?
Yeah.
So that happens. But in the show, Henry and Sam, I don't know. There was a lot of things that they did that I was like, "What the fuck are you doing?" Like, they were just like, "Let's get the fuck out of here!" They run out of the fucking cover of the car. I'm like, "Dude, this guy has a fucking sniper. You stupid! Like,
Yeah.
you're just gonna run
Are you
in
talking
there."
about Henry and Sam?
Yeah,
And
I
then
was just,
the
I
guy
thought that was
misses
just
and
like,
oh, let me go back.
yeah. They're like, "Oh, never mind." I was like, "What the fuck did you think was gonna happen? Come on, like, you're just gonna get it? Like, he's not even gonna shoot you." So yeah. Anyway, so Joel finally gets up to the sniper and he kills him. He tries to get the sniper to give up easily, but
Right.
the guy doesn't want to do it. He's like, "No, fuck you," and he like tries to shoot him. So Joel kills him, takes a sniper rifle, and then at that moment, the entire raider group is now, because I guess they found out that the guy was dead. Somehow they were just like, "Hey, come in."
Remember, he has a radio.
He called them and he was
He did?
simply stalling them.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he
something
alerted
like that.
them.
All I from what I was shown, all I knew was that they were calling him, but he wasn't answering. So they were just like, "He's dead. Let's go." And they just,
I think
like,
he alerted them when he first saw
Okay.
them, and then he
Yeah,
was
it's
suppressing
implied
them.
through the radio transmission, if you're listening to it, that they already talked and they were saying, just
Yeah.
hold them there.
Yeah.
We're already almost there.
Yeah.
okay,
Yeah.
yeah. So
It wasn't just like a, hey, blah, 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 check in. Like, it wasn't that. It was, they were already talking, is what they were implying.
Right.
Yeah, so then the huge truck with the fucking plow and like all their Humvees and shit start coming in, and they start blowing
Infinite
the cars off
resources,
the road.
man.
Yeah, I don't know where they get this fucking.
World.
Yeah, they have a huge amount of gasoline, and they have this bulldozer like
I mean,
monster
I
truck.
could understand. Like, I could see that. Like, I could see them building these Mad Max type vehicles. But
Sure,
to me,
but
it's
you know
just
how much
where are
fucking
you
gas
getting
it
the
uses?
resources? Yeah.
Well, yeah, this is the thing is that I expect like one truck, which
Right.
they did have the one LMTV that they modded, and the rest were just regular trucks.
Yeah.
But those trucks
Were
were
nice.
more nice than the fucking LMTV.
Like, I would
they
drive those
looked
trucks.
like they just came off of the fucking floor, the
Yeah.
show floor, and then threw all these mods on it. And they're just rolling around. It's like,
Yeah.
dude, where are you getting this fuel that you can just casually burn
Yeah.
doing stupid crap?
Yeah. So yeah, and then so Sam, Henry, and Ellie are now in being chased in pursuit by this giant bulldozer. And I thought it was just,
Ellie's just.
yeah, I thought that was the
Wasting
stupidest
it.
shit where she's just like turns around, she's like she doesn't even
pulls a
look, she's just
test.
like, "Oh, pig," and she's just like shooting
It
behind
is
her.
stupid, but to be honest,
It
I
makes sense.
expect that.
Yeah,
And I feel like
Yeah.
that's realistic.
I just
It's
thought it
not
was
the
funny.
smart thing to do, but it is what your average person is probably going to do because
Yeah.
they're afraid.
That's
That's
Understandably
fine.
so.
You're scared. You're just gonna shoot blindly behind you. I get that. But
For
then,
But she does look stupid.
yeah. So
That's
then,
funny.
so then Joel fucking snipes the lady in the driver's seat. She crashes the fucking plow into the house. The house goes, and then the fucking truck, of course, catches fire and explodes. And Ellie, so the fucking truck crashes in the house, and then Ellie falls down, and she's just watching the truck the whole time. And everybody, all the Raider people, they all stop maybe 10 or 15 feet away from her, and she's on the ground oh, okay. And then she gets up. It
You
takes her
didn't see me.
fucking they can see you. They're
Again, hold on. I want to explain this because you're absolutely right. I totally agree. You have the right
so
reaction.
they're other cars. What are you talking about?
But let me explain the situation, right? So you're right. It crashes and it does the thing. She's like a fucking deer in the headlights sitting
Yeah.
there, and they're all fucking look at this truck. That's realistic. That's what everybody's gonna fucking do. Every time a plane flies over, everybody's just like, I just mean now in normal days.
Yeah.
So when something like that's gonna happen, of course everybody's gonna stop and look at like an idiot and just watch it, like, oh, what the fuck's going on?
Yeah, everybody literally
Meanwhile,
stops
the
to just
entire
watch the
time you're
truck.
like, please run. This
Yeah.
is your distraction. Keep going.
Yeah.
Yeah,
The part that I have an issue with is they ran Sam,
they ran
Henry,
10
and
feet
Ellie
to the right.
ran around one car and they just sat there.
Yeah.
Yep.
Instead of
continuing
sprinting.
to run towards the house where
Yeah.
Joel can provide
and it's
cover
not
fire.
that far.
Yeah. I agree. I was getting to that. Is that she sits there for like a good 5 million years while this truck is like slowly decompressing in the fucking and they're all just staring at it, and then they're like, the guys are staring at it.
Really cringy fucking dialogue scene right before the truck actually starts sinking to the ground. There's that cringy dialogue scene between Henry and Kathleen where she's like, it's time, Henry, let's just finish it. And he comes out and she's just like, it's just the way it's gonna be. And then she like pulls out her gun and then I'm like,
plastic sounding fucking.
I'm like, okay, if you're really this ruthless fucking person that you're trying to create, why didn't you just shoot him? You had like 2 minutes of time to just be like, you know what, fuck it, bah, like finally completed my mission.
They literally pulled every trope of like, there's something happening in the background that's like causing distractions or like making it so that there's more time for people to do things, and none of those things are actually happening because nobody is doing anything. They're just sitting there and staring at it while you're like, run. They're fucking distracted, run, and then they stop being distracted and they're like, go find her, even though she's fucking 10 feet away from these goddamn cars.
Yes.
And there's floodlights on the cars,
and they're like, she went.
Go find them. And she's on the street. There's no cars in front of her. She's on the street. There's floodlights coming in, and then she's like, "Oh, okay." And she gets up and starts running, and then the car explodes, and then she's like, "Oh!" And she falls down. So now there's smoke and fire on the street, which are like, okay, now they can't see her, so she can get away. And then she's like, "Oh!" And she's just staring at the flames, and I'm like, "What are you doing?" And like, immediately get up and start running because they're coming. Like,
start running.
Like what? Like.
Again, you're right, Connor. But I'm just trying to say that this is something that's like it's easy
I know it is.
to tell
I know.
somebody to do it.
I've been stuck
when
in traffic.
You're doing it, you would be doing the same thing they're doing.
I have been stuck in traffic so many times where people are just like, whoa, what is happening over there? I get it. But I'm just saying, this is a life or death situation. Come on. Like, just get up.
No. Fuck your traffic, all right? That does happen all the time. It is so irritating, especially here. Anything happens and everybody slows.
It doesn't even have to be on our side of the street. It could be on the other side of the highway, and it still causes a slowdown.
Dude, they could be on the mountain. They're like, oh, I see a lot of cop lights. Oh, let me slow down. The light's still there? Yeah.
Let me see if I get something up there.
Yeah.
Let me call my uncle that lives up that hill.
I just mean, in this kind of situation, I'm pretty sure this is normal for people to just be like,
for sure.
They're literally just in shock.
Yeah.
So they can't move, they can't fucking think. They're just like, what the fuck is going on right now?
Yeah,
so I understand
Henry,
the frustration.
who actually just kept running and actually made it away from the car crashing and exploding. And then they just sit, like you said, behind one fucking car, literally 10 feet from the fucking explosion, like a bunch of idiots. Dude. What? You had so much time to just be like, okay, let's go. I mean, like, Henry's a full-grown adult. You could just grab the two fucking kids and be like, let's go, and just start running. It's like, there's no fucking...
just like, pick them up.
What? Like, come on, man. You have to have more common sense. You're like all about, like, he's my brother. I have to make sure he stays alive. And you're going to fucking run 10 feet in front of you and then hide behind a fucking car that's like in the complete open. There's no other cover. Like, are you stupid? Like, come on.
Yes. The answer is yes.
I do. Also, this doesn't change anything because, like I said, I completely agree. They're fucking idiots this entire time. From their point of view, though, they probably have no idea what they're looking at because all they see is smoke and fucking blinding lights coming at them.
True.
And they're just going to assume that there's like 500 dudes, which there's a crap ton, like 50 guys with M4s and M16s that are all fucking decked out, aiming at them. And they're just like, oh, I don't fucking know, so let me just take cover. Again, I don't know why the fuck you run 10 feet and take cover behind one truck instead of just saying fuck it and sprinting. But,
or at least, like, the truck is parked right next to a fucking house. Just go in the house. Do something. Like...
I do want to say one thing too, and this is picking at Joel, is when they first encounter the sniper.
Yeah,
I'm just gonna say that his comment that he's like, this guy has shit aim, bro. He's providing the most accurate suppressive fire what the fuck do you mean he has shit aim?
Yeah.
He almost kills you so many times, and you just barely happen to fucking dodge it. And then on top of that, this fucking sniper has like this custom made 100-round fucking tube on this bolt action somehow because they never stop shooting. And then Joel picks it up and does the exact same thing.
He reloads like one round.
One round, bro. Where'd you get that round?
Huh?
When did you have this? Like,
well, he picked it up like off the floor. Or something.
It didn't look like that. It just looked like he just like spawned it in midair and was loading it to the fucking rifle.
Zombies, he got the infinite ammo perk,
and then he does the same thing and just has infinite ammo when he's shooting. I get why he does it, obviously, because he's doing the important things, but just the fact that you're like, bro, you never stop to reload.
Not to mention now he has perfect aim.
I went from shit
I don't know
aim
about perfect, but yeah, he went from not being able to
perfect aim back to shit aim. There's no in between. He's either headshotting people or completely missing.
What really frustrated me about the Joel sniper thing was that like they've surrounded this one lone car that these fucking idiots are hiding behind, and they're like, "Come on out, we're gonna kill you, ha!" And then Joel's like in the fucking tower, and he knows that they're gonna kill him, and he's just sitting there behind the thing, like hiding, like, "Oh man, I don't know what to do."
Well,
you got a sniper rifle, just fucking look outside and be like, "Man!"
Wait. But there was people. There's a shot that shows there's people aiming at the house.
There's people aiming at the house, but you're gonna let Ellie die? Come on, like you see Henry, like he knows Henry stepped out of the car.
Game,
like, okay,
in the game, I would have peeked and tried to quick scope Kathy.
I'm just saying.
Okay.
Like, there's no way he would have just let her
take the time while they were distracted to headshot Kathy.
That's what I was hoping.
Beautiful.
Yeah. So as soon as
got a pretty cool death scene, but I would have enjoyed that much more. He just fucking
as soon as the truck
it just dies. You know what I'm saying? Sorry. Extra, but yeah.
So while Kathleen is doing this bad guy monologue, the fucking truck sinks into the ground and a giant hole opens up, and then like a million fucking zombies come out.
Yeah.
This is what I had a problem with.
At that moment, Joel did not do anything. He was just like, "Oh shit." And then he like loads his gun, like, "I'm getting ready." Get ready for what? She's right there. Just shoot her.
Like, bro, caught it. There's like 500 zombies coming out of the ground. What do you mean? What is he getting ready for?
No, I'm just saying.
At that point, I would have just been like, "Well, you're dead, Ellie. Sorry."
I'm just saying, he like fucking reloads the gun, even though he has not shot the gun since he was hiding behind the thing. He's like, "Okay, cheek," and it's like, "Okay, you obviously didn't fucking shoot that round." And then he's like, "Okay, I'm gonna just wait until the zombies get closer. Just start shooting, dude. Just start shooting. Like, why are you just waiting? Like."
Because he only has like 8 bullets, Connor.
No, apparently he has 1,000 bullets, dude. Did you not see the fucking
how many people he shot? How many zombies he shot?
What I had more of an issue is all the people.
Yeah,
they're on the ground right there. They're fucking stacked with all these guys and guns,
and y'all
trucks,
didn't do anything.
And they're just like they're looking at it. And then we get the fucking World War Z shot of all them fucking climbing out of the ground like, and I'm like, "Oh, you're dead, dude. There's no way you're surviving that." And they just stand there for like 3 minutes while they're all sprinting out of this ground, and nobody shoots.
Yeah,
until they're right in their fucking face dying. Then they're like, "Oh!"
Yeah. As soon as that first zombie's head popped up, they should have just immediately been like into the ground, like just unloaded into the fucking hole.
As soon as that ground caves in, I'm
running.
Yeah, I would have gotten the car.
I'm going right back in town.
Because it's not like they don't know what that is. They know.
They should have known.
They know. I mean, Henry and
Kathleen and Percy or whatever, Perry or whatever his name, they should have fucking known.
Percy
they should have been like, "Oh,
it's their fault that all of them died."
Yeah, it's their fault.
They're fucking idiots.
Even if they didn't explain like from before, they know that they're all underground.
Right.
That's probably not a good sign.
Yeah.
No. So like I would have been like, if I was in a truck, I'm like, "Bro, you get in now or I'm out."
Yeah.
I
wouldn't even say anything. I'd probably just get in the car, and if somebody else gets in the car with me, so be it.
That's what I'm saying. I would just immediately
out.
turning around, and if you jump in the back while that's happening, you're good. Other than that, you're fucked. Bye.
I ain't fucking waiting for you.
Yeah, I like how then Perry's like, run him over, and they start like running him all over. I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, your car is gonna be fucked within like, like a minute. Like there's so many fucking zombies. There's no way.
Yeah, what
you know
happened to
I mean?
having infinite ammo and resources?
Not to
and
these brand new trucks, all right?
Oh, I'm sorry.
new-
The trucks with the titanium alloy plating on their chassis that can withstand all this fucking brunt force.
All these bodies just fucking.
All right, real
standing
quick,
there.
Zachy, what did you think of the bloater?
I like the design,
was a
though. I'm
fuck-
missing the spores.
It's fucking-
It was awesome, though.
He's a
Yeah.
fucking
This-
tank.
this-
Dude, that
Yeah.
thing was a
Sports
unit.
always was missing, but he was a fucking beast. That
Yeah, the
that
thing
clip
about-
scene from the game he did on Perry. Oh, that made
Oh
me
yeah,
that made me so happy. Just I'm like, oh well, that's an awesome
Ripped
scene.
his head off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He
that was
just
super
tore
close.
through everybody. The guy he slammed to the ground. Oh, I can't. I loved it.
Shit, I almost wanted them to just rip off Left 4 Dead and have his own music when he's like,
Oh, that
"What you got?"
bro.
Yeah.
That
I
was
thought they
pretty
did
sick.
an amazing job with like how realistic it looked.
Yeah, it
didn't
looked
look
really good.
fake
Oh,
or
yeah, it looks
anything.
Yeah, he did
cool.
not look
Yeah.
CGI. He looked like a real
Yeah.
thing.
It was really well done.
That was actually blurred.
It's.
I have
it's
to
gonna be
agree with
interesting
Zachy
to see
though.
what they. Huh?
I have to agree with Zachy that I don't like. I'm kind of disappointed that like they're like the spores are just
It wasn't
gone.
an actual.
There's
yeah. There's
well,
no
there's just
spores.
no spores like at all.
Yeah.
Like that
Well,
has
it's
nothing to
because
do
they
with the,
took
the
away
zombies
they
anymore.
took away the threat of the spores of the spores being airborne and replaced it with the hive mind tentacle thing.
Which I think is
Right,
absolutely
but
stupid. By the way,
How do, but like we haven't seen that like it. That's so inconsistent. You know what
Yeah,
I mean?
it
Like,
really
but
is. It really
that's
is.
that's I know. Like I would be shocked if Druckmann said anything other than the fact that they replaced it. That they
no, they
that they
absolutely
took
did.
away the spores and they added the tendril thing to replace it.
right, but now that's
feel like
a
they
worse
literally-
Whether or
version
not it's
because
whether or
it's
not
so
it's
fucking
good.
inconsistent that it doesn't even.
Yeah, that's the thing is I feel like they made that just as the excuse, but they're never gonna touch it again.
Yeah.
Yeah,
feel
it's like they're now fighting these. Well, I don't know, like fucking 80 zombies that are coming on the thing, and they're all connected, right? They're all connected to all the fucking zombies everywhere. So as soon as they start shooting this, and this fucking bloater comes out, I'm assuming he's like the alpha male zombie in this new universe
Yeah.
or whatever, where he's like,
It's the
I'm
hive
connected
monster.
to all of them, and I whatever. I don't know, whatever the fuck. And as soon as they're killing all these zombies, there should be like at least 80,000 zombies in the next state over who are like, huh? And then they all start like running over. Like, what? Like,
We
you're
don't know
just-
how far
Yeah,
that
so
actually goes.
I actually rewatched episode 2 because I actually got my entire family hooked on this show. They actually come over to my house to watch it every week because
That's awesome.
they
That's
really
actually
like it.
cool.
But so we rewatched episode 2 to catch them up, and when Tess is explaining the tendrils, she says that the tendrils can stretch for a couple miles, not many miles. So
Mm.
I'm pretty sure the network of tendrils is a lot smaller than what we initially thought it was in our reaction to that episode. So I don't think that group of zombies could potentially be connected to like ones from other states over that could send them.
right. I'm not saying
send their
this specific
army in,
group,
you
but I'm
know?
just saying from what they've shown, like the fucking
Yeah.
in that episode where they kill the whatever the new zombie or whatever, and then all the fucking zombies like way the
Right.
fuck over there are like, ugh, and then they fucking start running. I mean, there's been so many like. What about the fucking guy that Ellie was like,
Right.
I'm
Stabbed
gonna
in the face.
And
Yeah.
what about the
No, I
fucking
agree.
like? I'm just saying, like, there's
Yeah,
so
no, no, no.
inconsistent.
It is
of, like,
100%
You're
inconsistent.
You're right. The
100%.
problem is they're not gonna explain this.
They
And
used
so it's just plot holes.
which makes it a more, pardon my fucking French, but makes it retarded because I mean, what the fuck are you gonna like? There's no point to like it being scared then because you're like, well, I guess they could.
it could
I
work
mean,
or it could not. I don't know.
Yeah, I was like, you don't know. It's like a fucking flip coin. You just flip it, and you're like, heads or tails. If you kill this guy, fucking million zombies are gonna come in or not. What? Like, it's way more scary if you like walk into a room and you're like, oh shit, there's spores everywhere. I'm dead, and then you're fucking dead. You know what I mean? Like,
Sure.
like,
Yeah, it's easier to understand, but yeah, like we said, you're right. But you just kind of have to get over that fact because they're just not gonna explain it. It was bad to begin with, and it's
Yeah.
still bad now.
Yeah.
I was hoping
I was holding
Booker
out-
had spores.
I digress. I'm sorry.
No,
was
you're
hoping
good. You're good.
at least the bloater had spores
You're right.
to make it more
Yeah.
dangerous. I feel like that
Yeah.
should have
But
been
I
a thing.
agree. I feel like I fucking love how the bloater was just like fuck you, and he ripped a part off of his nipple and was just like "Huh," and threw it at the, you know what I mean? And it was like a deadly fucking spore thing, and you're like, oh my god, and you start running because there's spore gas everywhere.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
like it was cool. He was still cool.
Yeah.
I'm just saying,
he's super
like
cool.
you know, nipple gas would have been kind of scary. I'm just saying.
Well, it would definitely add to the fact.
Right,
Yeah.
right, exactly.
Because like now he's just chase after people, but the thing's so big. I'm pretty sure you can just out.
Yeah, he's just like a juggernaut. He's just like,
Bro,
I'm the juggernaut,
I
bitch.
don't know,
He was
bro.
moving.
I
That
think if
guy
I
was a
put that
unit.
motherfucker at you, Zachy, I'm pretty sure you're dying.
I'm,
Yeah,
I'm-
he was pretty fast. He was pretty
Yeah.
fast.
I
If he got on all
No.
fours, I'd be very scared.
yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Even if I was in a car, I'd be like, we're not outrunning this guy.
How did
yeah,
how did you guys feel about Megan slinking into the car with Ellie?
bro, that was
was
freaky,
awesome.
dude.
that was awesome. I
Ellie gets
really
into
love
the,
the child
Ellie
zombie.
gets into the car,
Yeah.
and then that little child zombie, and Joel's trying to shoot her. And I'm like, of course he's gonna miss. And then she does
Yeah.
her little like freaking. I'm
Yeah.
like, oh god, that's
Yeah, dude,
freaky,
that was
man.
fucked up. I was like, oh.
And then she
But-
goes full on witch later at the.
I do have a.
I mean, the imagery is scary, but I feel like there's not a lot of tension there because you know that like if she bites
She's
Ellie,
not gonna
it doesn't
die,
really
yeah.
matter. You know
Well,
what
she
I mean?
can bite the
But
kill.
we also know
Oh,
that
she
she's,
can still die.
Yeah, she can
we
still
know
get
she's
torn
not gonna
apart.
die.
Right, but
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of obstacles between her and Ellie, like the seats
That's
and all
fair.
that shit. So, like before Ellie gets out, the most plausible thing that's going to happen is that she bites Ellie, right?
Yeah,
But it doesn't really affect her. So it's kind of
That's
like,
fair.
you know, I would be more scared if there was like I would be like, oh,
A
Ellie's gonna
bloater
die if
chasing
there's
her
like a
after?
fucking like a full grown man zombie just like like you know what I mean, like just fucking powerhousing through the car. But like a little kid zombie, I'd just be like, oh okay,
Yeah.
boop.
I think it was just meant to be that child because
It was creepy, yeah.
child
It
zombies
was
are
creepy.
always just
Yeah.
creepy, you know.
Yeah, it was
Like,
definitely
even, like,
it was
Dead
definitely for the
Space,
creep factor.
babies, like, ugh.
Yeah, that's,
Of course,
Yeah.
fucking baby.
yeah.
Oh
So,
shit!
yeah.
How-
all right.
Oh.
What's
no,
up,
no,
Zachy?
you continue.
Go-
I was going to ask you about the last scene, but if you're going to that, don't worry about it.
yeah, that's where I'm headed. So we talked about it a couple times. We do get a pretty great death scene of Kathleen, just satisfying for us, the viewer, because we don't like her. She gets mauled by that child zombie, basically.
Yeah.
Lord. Which
Yeah.
Complete
that was
Jurassic
pretty
Park
nuts.
moment. She's like, I got you now, bitches. And then Ellie's like, oh my God. And she's like staring over to the side. And then the fucking girl zombie's like, and then
Nah.
she gets attacked. Like,
Yeah.
you know, Velociraptor style or whatever. She's like, ah! And she dies.
So obviously, Henry, Sam, Ellie, Joel, they all get away from that commotion. They get away from the fighting. They make it to a old motel on a random road or whatever, and there's a really like heartfelt scene of Joel and Henry talking, and then Sam and Ellie, they have more interaction. They are sharing their comic book more, and then they talk and they have a heartfelt moment of sharing their greatest fears and whatnot. And then it comes out through that conversation, Sam shares with Ellie that he sustained a bite during the incident. And it does differ from the game because as far as I remember, we didn't know that Sam was bitten until we woke up to him trying to eat Ellie.
Yeah.
We
If I
did know
remember
he was bitten, but he never told anybody else. So
I swear he didn't tell
I'm pretty sure it's
tell Ellie.
Ellie gives him the toy that he wanted in the game, like that little robot
Right.
transformer toy, and he's like, "This is I snuck it out." Blah blah blah. And she goes away to Joel, and he's upset, so he throws it on the ground. And I think he lifts off his shirt or something, and then shows a bite. I think that was the
I
scene
don't
before they wake up in the
remember
morning. I might be remembering, but I'm pretty sure that was what happened.
No, you could be 100% right. I just may not remember it because I don't remember
Yeah, I don't-
knowing him being. I don't remember knowing that he was bitten until he was turned.
I think it's just one of those things where
Yeah.
it's a small detail.
Yeah.
that
Mandela
you can
effect.
Clearly,
Yeah, I don't remember.
Yeah,
that
which is
either.
not a huge detail, but it just so he shares with Ellie that he was bitten. He's very sad. Ellie's like, "I'll stay up with you all night until you start
until
turning."
she doesn't.
Of course, she doesn't. She falls asleep. She wakes up in the morning. He's turned. He attacks her. Super sad. Henry has to shoot him in order to save Ellie. And then through his own grief and realizing what he did, he decided to take his own life. Which, like, that scene was incredibly
sad.
sad.
Yeah.
Is
Very
really
sad.
heart wrenching.
How did you guys
Yeah.
feel about the scene where she tries to Oh, not really tried, but says she can cure him.
Oh, the blood.
Yeah. How do you guys feel about that?
So, I don't want to talk too much on it because I think that my particular viewpoint on that has too many spoilers tied to it for future content. So, I don't really have a whole lot to say.
I
that
just
wouldn't spoil.
I think that it makes sense from her perspective because she doesn't understand how it works.
Sure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I think.
Yeah,
I think it's
no,
fair.
it's a
Well,
great.
nobody knows how it works.
Yeah.
At this
It's a
point.
great scene of her being like, well, but, fuck it, like it's
Might
not
as
gonna
well.
kill him because he's already dying. Might as well try,
Yeah.
So like that, I don't have an issue with it. I just there's certain thoughts that I have about it that play into things later on that I don't want to talk about because
That's
it's major spoilers.
That's
So,
fair.
Yeah. But I'm sure we'll get to that eventually during other episodes. So, yeah, unfortunately, Sam and Henry are gone. The latest two companions on their journey to unfortunately bite the dust. And Ellie and Joel are back on their own. And it does seem like at the end, after they're done burying them, Ellie kind of has like a reinvigorated sense of
Purpose.
Yeah, purpose. Because she's like, which way is west? And she's like, let's go.
Yeah.
I'm not a huge fan of it, but it
makes sense
at
in a way.
least-
In theory, in a way.
sure. But yeah. Yeah, I mean, I enjoyed episode 5. I'm not gonna lie, I enjoyed it a lot. I really the only issue I had was Sam being a little younger, but in the end, it's not. I think the jury is still out on whether or not it was a bad idea.
That's fair.
So, yeah.
I think it kept
Yeah,
up with the previous episodes for sure.
Yeah, I think so. I think we're still headed in a really good trajectory. We're on a really good line. I'm excited. I know the show is good because, like I said, my entire family is hooked on it. Like, they are coming over to my house to watch it. It's not like one of those shows that we just watch on our own and then we talk about it. Like, they wanna like sit down and experience it. Like, my mom has actually said that she wants to watch somebody play the game. Like, she wants to watch the game be played so that she can see the differences firsthand. And so, kind of thought to myself, maybe we should do like a playthrough on the channel of the game.
Absolutely.
We could do some playthrough, and then we could kind of talk about like differences and stuff. So if that's something that you guys, our audience would be interested in seeing, we can definitely make that happen. So let us know down in the comments below if you'd like to see a playthrough of the original game. So it's exciting, boys. I'm excited to see where it goes. I've kind of just accepted that there's going to be some gross differences from the game, but it does seem like every time they pull away from the game, like every time they detour from the game, they kind of wrap back around and realign with something of the game, and then they're kind of doing this like back and forth thing, which I'm not really opposed to as long as it's executed well. So, yeah. Any final thoughts from you guys?
No,
I'm
that
happy
was cool.
as it is for now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really enjoyed episode 5. I just really hope they don't do another.
Kathleen.
Yeah, I really hope they don't do another episode 4 people kind of thing.
Yeah.
I hope they go in
need
a different
better
direction.
people.
I swear to God, if they do this again, it's literally like The Walking Dead, where it's just the
Yeah.
same thing over and over again.
Yeah.
I'm done.
Yeah.
That's fair.
They're
That's
not
fair.
going to. It would be.
I mean, I doubt it.
It would just completely destroy the game. So
Well, I do have high hopes for the next
completely
episode.
detour
So
from the game. So I do too,
because what happened next is really exciting. So
I know what you're thinking about, buddy. I know. Yeah, I'm excited too. All right, guys. Gentlemen, thank you guys for joining us this week on The Breakdown. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you guys for joining us, and look forward to next week when we do a episode breakdown of episode 6. I believe going forward, HBO is going to continue to release episodes back on Sundays. So it's actually... You're actually not going to get a breakdown episode for a couple weeks from us because next week it won't come out yet. I don't know. We'll figure that out. But yeah, just stay tuned for more, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you guys. Please like, subscribe, comment, share with a friend. Check out our social media links in the description below, as well as the other shows here on Any Kind Media. And we will catch you guys in the next episode.
Shoot.
Bye, guys.
Bye.